I love that song. Yes, catch you up with what our local heroes have been up to. An incredible trip for them and a lot of memories created there.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you to our veterans for their service. Good morning to you on this Monday. Let's go ahead and check it with Netta now for a look at our forecast. Felt like summer over the weekend. Will we feel like fall-like today?
Yes, this week, yes, everything's moving downwards. Temperature-wise, if you were tired of the heat, not to worry. Cool weather's on its way. A shakeup is happening, and you can see it right before our eyes, right here. Our look at those clouds coming through ahead of the rain chances that will be here for this afternoon. But look how pretty that is. East-facing cameras, you see the nice thin clouds, higher level clouds, and that's what creates all those beautiful hues. Here's another camera shot for you so you can see. We still have about 40 minutes to go of this beauty before the sun really comes up and washes kind of some of that out. But right now we get all kinds of pretty colors. So there is a low that's bringing us a chance of showers. We'll time it all out for you here coming up. Jenny.
Well, traffic looks pretty good too this morning. I don't have any major issues that I'm seeing out on the maps here. The Coronado Bridge, everything to the South County is okay. There's one crash that CHP is reporting, and this is over on the 94 Campo Steel Canyon. You can see a little bit of orange here leading up to this crash site. It was initially reported at about 5:15 this morning. I know about 20 minutes ago a tow truck was called to the scene, so I think we're going to start to see some progress there. But for now, 94 is seeing just a little bit of a delay on that westbound commute approaching Steel Canyon. Couple mile stretch, not bad at all. Up to the North County, we are delay and crash free. Stella.
Jenny, thank you. Right now, the race is on to clean up one of the largest oil spills in recent Southern California history. At least 126,000 gallons of oil leaked into the Pacific Ocean.
Tough to see these images, right? This morning, miles of popular beaches are closed from Huntington to Newport Beach, and there's a major effort underway to try and save wildlife in the area. News 8's Evan Ronnie live outside SeaWorld in Mission Bay with how local crews, they are ready to respond on a moment's notice here, right?
Yeah, I mean, they say they are ready with their 8,000 square foot facility at SeaWorld. They say that this is exactly what they prepare for in these types of disasters. And as you mentioned, right now, around the clock, the effort is underway to help protect the wildlife up in Orange County, as well as to try to get some of that oil out of the water. All throughout this weekend, that has been the main effort after this 126,000 gallon spill.
We are in the midst of a potential ecological disaster here in Huntington Beach. In the coming days and weeks, we challenge the responsible parties to do everything possible to rectify this environmental catastrophe.
And you heard there from the mayor of Huntington Beach. Now, this spill came from an offshore rig between Huntington and Newport Beach. It's now causing major ecological damage in the water off of the Orange County coast. Some beaches in the area closed around the clock for that cleanup effort. The National Weather Service does say the possibility of the spill reaching San Diego does look rather low. Nonetheless, the team at SeaWorld, part of the Oiled Wildlife Care Network, say they are on standby and ready to respond. They say they have an 8,000 square foot facility specifically for situations like this. California Fish and Wildlife expected to speak alongside the Oiled Wildlife Care Network about the recovery effort that will be underway over the next several days, and that really has been underway for the last couple days. Now, in terms of when this will take place, that'll be at 10 a.m. The United States Coast Guard also investigating how exactly this began and how the oil spill happened in the first place. Right now, they do say they believe Beta Offshore is the organization responsible. They're one of the largest suppliers of oil around the Pacific, largest drillers of oil over the Pacific Ocean, and they say they believe that Beta Offshore is responsible for this 126, possibly larger gallon oil spill. But again, that is all still under investigation at this point. They say the priority right now is to get that area cleaned up in terms of just the water in Orange County, Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, but of course also to ensure that any wildlife that has been damaged gets the recovery that they need. Outside of Mission Bay, I'm Evan Arani, News 8.
New this morning, a local scientist is one of the recipients of the Nobel Prize in Physiology of Medicine.
Yes, and that honor went to Artem Pataputian from Scripps Research in La Jolla. Big congratulations. The committee selected him and another American scientist who will share the $1 million prize. The Nobel jury said their discoveries have allowed us to understand how we sense temperature and touch. Very smart people out there, so big congratulations to them.
Well, this morning there are some questions about exemptions in light of California becoming the first state to announce school vaccine requirements.
Yeah, local districts and families are also weighing in on the governor's new announcement. News 8's Chris Groh is live at the County Office of Education in Linda Vista with a closer look. Good morning, Chris.
Yeah, good morning. And right now, the state says that they will allow for personal, religious, and medical exemptions. But getting those exemptions may be one thing, and then where you live may be completely different. Here's how one legal analyst that we spoke with is weighing in.
The religious exemption is a little trickier, but you have to attest that it is a bona fide religious reason that is causing you to resist vaccination.
And so while the state will allow for religious, personal, and medical exemptions at the moment, San Diego Unified, a much different story. School Board President Richard Barrera told News 8 the district would allow for medical exemptions, but not personal or religious. Meanwhile, another school district, Poway Unified, says that it will comply with the state order. Now, the California state legislature could one day decide to remove any exemptions. That would likely cause that to be challenged, not only by assembly members there in the legislation, but also the court system as well too. So again, this is going to be something to keep an eye on, not just the mandates themselves, but also those exemptions. Now, how are parents feeling about potential vaccine mandates in other parts of the country? Well, a recent poll shows parents are pretty split with the idea of getting their children vaccinated. 44% of parents surveyed with kids between the ages of 5 and 11, according to Axios, say they are likely to get their children vaccinated, compared with 42% who say they will not. Now, when you get that scale up towards kids who are a little bit older, between the ages of 12 and 17, parents are much more on board with those mandatory vaccinations, with about 60% of those parents saying that they would approve of that. Eric and Stella.
Chris, thank you. A sexually violent predator who will no longer move into a house in Rancho Bernardo after the landlord backed out. The landlord is saying he doesn't want him there. Now, this comes after a week of protests and town hall meetings against moving Douglas Badger into the community. Now, Badger's placement is still set for a court hearing on October 29th. And County Supervisor Jim Desmond will introduce a proposal for more local control on where predators move in during tomorrow's board meeting.
This morning, we will learn the verdict in the trial of a man accused of shooting and killing a church's chicken employee in Otay Mesa. It happened in November of 2019. Prosecutors say employees refused service to Albert Lee Blake when he tried to use a fake $100 bill. He's accused of coming back with a gun, killing Maribel Ibanez and hurting 2 others. Officers later arrested Blake in Tennessee.
And there will be a lot of talk about the future of the Padres now that the season is over.
Yeah, a lot of us trying to process how this team went from playoff contender to a complete collapse. Well, the Padres lost the season finale to San Francisco 11-4, and that clinched the division for the Giants over the Dodgers. Now, all eyes are on manager Jace Tingler and if he will return.
I know there's been some anonymous names thrown around. I think in the real world, not everybody likes your boss. I will not stop defending them. I will not stop caring. That's something that I will not back down from.
Padres ended the season with a 79-83 record, 28 games behind Neta Aranpor's Giants.
Oh, just 28 games.
That's all.
We were that close.
But, you know, I was at the game where the Padres won on Saturday.
Oh, good.
So I saw the Padres win, you know, and we just needed, like, Sunday to happen for the Giants, because if not, there'd be a game today. It would have just been a whole mess. So at least that all worked out for the Giants. I know for Padres fans, it's a bummer. I will say there were a lot of Padre fans in San Francisco. So they turned out supporting their team. So there you go. It's always good to see that. And I just want to know what Bruce Bochy is thinking right now. That's all I got to say. I don't know. All right, let's talk about your weather. We'll switch it up for you and show you what's going on here. We do have some high clouds coming through. Our sunrise is going to be a really pretty one. You can already see the pretty pastels out there with those higher clouds. They tend to, you know, bring out the colors, the pinks and the purples. Sunrise at 6:45 this morning. And it does, of course, look dark from the Mount Soledad camera right along the west coast here, looking towards the shoreline, not noticing cloud coverage. So we don't have the marine layer in place this morning. And it also feels kind of warm right now, 68 degrees for downtown, 69 in Del Mar, 68 in Carlsbad. Inland areas, some of you waking up to the 50s in Ramona, low to mid 60s for most inland spots at this hour. So look at that 24-hour temperature change. Quite a warm up. We felt the heat over the weekend, whether you were here in Southern California or up in Northern California. Yeah, we all were warm, a lot of sunshine, but all of that's changing now. It's going to start to cool down. Right now, these are the clouds that you're seeing coming in from this area of low pressure, which is just off the coast here of Southern California. You can kind of see that swirling motion there. It's a little counterclockwise flow, but it is pushing in those clouds from the south to the north. So that's what's going to bring us our chance of rain. So let's take you through this hourly so you can see when we might see the first trickles coming in. Pretty light to start, as you see, around 3, 4 o'clock, and then 5, 6 o'clock. That afternoon commute could be a little slick, and then the overnight hours we'll continue to see it. So scattered light rainfall. That's round 1. I'll get into the details of when round 2 will be arriving and what all this means for our temperatures coming up. And